So put your little hand in mine, and there ain't no place or mountain we can climb. Alicia, I've got you, Alicia. I've got you, Alicia.
I have this sudden urge to knock you off of the nightstand, and I'm not really sure why.
But it's not 6 a.m.
Have we done this before?
Didn't you just ask me that?
We watched Groundhog's Day, right?
Yes.
I think it's a residual effect.
Okay.
All right, great. I'm Alicia, by the way.
I'm Luis.
We watched Groundhog's Day this week because our friend Jonny, who was on our last episode about weird science, challenged us to watch this movie as I had never seen it before. After seeing it twice now, because I haven't had a chance to watch it the third time, I am in a rabbit hole and I cannot get out. And I'm chasing this wonderful, wonderful fan theory that I have right now that it was Ned the whole time. Ned being the culprit is my white rabbit. This is Alice in Wonderland. Thanks for listening. I think I just won. So we can just end the podcast here. Yeah, you don't need to argue it.
But wait.
What?
If Ned is your white rabbit, instead of saying that he's late, is he just running around saying Bing?
He's just running around saying Bing and trying to get people to buy insurance from him. Because he's putting them into these time loops and then making them buy insurance from him. And that's how he's making a living as a time wizard. He's a time wizard. That's just all it is. It sounds like I'm saying time lizard, right? With an L?
A little bit.
I'm not sure why it sounds like that to me.
Because you want to say Time Lord?
I do, though. But he's not a Time Lord.
He's not.
Or if he is, he's the salesman. No, he's the adjuster.
Just come back and help you out with all your regenerations.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, Alicia, what did you think of the movie?
It was really good. It's not top 10 material for me because I've seen a lot of movies that have meant a lot more to me personally that come before this movie. Okay. But probably top 20.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right.
12 or 13. Somewhere right in that ballpark.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good spot for it.
Yeah, I think so too. Hopefully you guys watched it. Because we're going to be talking about it as though you've seen it. As though you know it. It's such an old movie, I don't feel like we should have to be saying spoiler warning. But as, prime example of how some people just go their whole life without seeing a very well-known movie, spoilers.
Since this movie came out in 1993.
I was like 7, 6. The reason why I didn't see this movie is because when this movie came out, my parents were divorced. Mm-hmm. We were going through some really hard financial hardships. So there weren't any movies. There wasn't cable in my house. Like, it was a bad time. Mm-hmm. Hashtag it was bad, guys. Anyway, all right now. It's fine. I went through it. It's not a big deal. Whatever. It's like going through a tunnel. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's over with. It's in the past. So this movie's actually weirdly dark.
Yes. Even though they actually tried to avoid all the dark things that could happen.
Yeah, it's like a weirdly dark comedy. And I don't know how to feel about it.
And this is before Death to Smoochie, and that was intentionally a dark comedy.
I haven't seen that movie. I don't know how. I've tried sitting down to watch it, and always something happens. I know. We'll put it on the watch list. It's fine.
Yep.
That'll be like the tagline of the show. Put it on the watch list.
I thought it was the tagline of the show.
Well, if it wasn't, it is now.
Yeah.
Cling, ding. Oh, wait. Bing!
You're the goddamn Bings. Nobody likes failed Microsoft search engines.
Some people do.
I guess.
When they're searching for porn, they do.
Most people just use Google.
Have you ever used the search engine for porn on Bing?
No.
It's clearly superior. They know what their customers are there for. All right? Not that I know anything about porn.
No? Not at all?
Visual jokes really don't work over audio-based shows. Anyway, I was looking around suspiciously. Whatever. It's not funny. So let's talk about the movie, right? Let's not talk about porn anymore. Let's move on to Bill Murray, because in my mind, those two things are absolutely linked. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
At least I didn't go with the giant furry rodent. A rodent of unusual size, if you will. Yeah, I went there.
That's another one.
That's on the watch list, yeah. So, Bill Murray is playing a character called Phil. Phil Connors, not Collins, he's an okay singer. Came out with a really good song called Against All Odds. I recommend. It's a really good song. It's my favorite song by him. One of my top 10 favorite songs, as it happens. It's a really good song. Mm-hmm. Postal Service did a cover of it. It's amazing. That's all besides the point. Phil Connors is the guy that Bill Murray is playing. And he's the jerkiest jerk who ever jerked.
Yes.
He's a douchebag.
Yeah, he's a bit of an asshole.
This is one of those movies where, like, the protagonist, the main character, is somebody that you really don't like. He's just a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I rooting for this guy?
Because somebody has to, and then throughout the course of the movie, he flips it around and stops being such an asshole.
Yeah, I guess.
So.
Even in the end of the movie, I wasn't really rooting for him.
No?
He did, like, too good of a job making me hate him. So I think it's a little bit of a problem. It was, like, the opposite of the Draco Malfoy effect. You know, like... So Draco Malfoy is one of my favorite things to talk about in the world. If we're comparing the two, right? You're meant to hate Draco Malfoy.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, he has this semi-redeeming moment when he questionably does the right thing. I don't get that same kind of questionable, redeeming part of this movie. Like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Because in the end, when he's successfully wooed... Andy McDowell, which is the love interest of this movie. He does it by, like, memorizing a bunch of facts. He does it because he's so bored that he learns everybody's patterns and then successfully completes the patterns. I don't think that that's love. I don't think that's a good person. That's learning the pattern. So in the end, like, I don't feel like I like him. I feel like, okay, he just fixed the problem. He's like a plumber. You don't really like him. He just kind of does his job.
Except Mario.
Except for Mario and Luigi. Mario and Luigi. Wait, Luigi Mario. I said it wrong. That's on the watch list, for sure. We need to add that to that's on the watch list.
How many Marios are there between the two of you? There's 3. There's Mario, and Luigi Mario.
Do your Luigi impression. Your Luigi impression is great. Do it. Do it.
Ouija!
It's so good.
Ouija time!
It's so good. Anyway. So, jerkiest jerk who ever jerked on the jerky planet, right?
Yes.
Goes to Punxsutawny, Pennsylvania, where he is supposed to be doing the Groundhog Day coverage for his Pittsburgh-based news station. There, I said it. That was the most boring way I could have possibly said it, but it got the point across. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. He jerks around.
Yeah.
I mean, not like at the wheel or anything like that, but I mean, he's just a jerk.
Yeah. He's bitching about doing this for his 4th year now. And then the cameraman, Larry's just like, look, when I worked in San Diego, we did the swallows coming to Capistrano for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So, like, whatever.
Like, that's literally half the job. You have to fucking follow the same thing. That's part of the career, you know what I mean? Like, duh.
Yep.
But no. Jerky McJerkface over there is the biggest jerk on the planet, so he's got to be an absolute narcissist and be wanting more out of life than is offered in his Pittsburgh-based news station, which for some reason for him is a dead end. I'm still unsure.
I don't know.
Maybe he just wants a national network, I guess.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know how ambition works in the newsroom because I've never been a reporter, so I'm just assuming how these things work. So, Punxsutawny Phil is... the giant wombat. No, not wombat. What is he?
It's a groundhog.
He's a groundhog, obviously.
That's
the word wombat just came out. That's why I was like, what? What brain? The rodent of unusual sized named Phil. Mm-hmm. And then there's the rat Phil, right? So they're both, they have so much in common. Not just the names. But their essential being is the same. Maybe that was the joke, is that he's a giant rat.
He's a rodent of unusual size.
Phil is, absolutely. I actually had to look it up, because we were talking about the woodchuck, you know, because how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And I really wanted to make the joke of, like, how much jerk could a jerk if a jerk could jerk wood, or something like that. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say something like that. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then we were both like, wait, Are groundhogs and woodchucks the same thing? So we had to look it up. They're in the same family as, like, squirrels and rats, and, I mean, they're rodents. So that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Just throw that out there for you. Education. Ding! Oh, sorry. Bing! So they get there. We're taking a long time to get to this. All right. So they get to Punxsutawny, which I cannot spell for the life of me, BT dubs. I've tried spelling it 15 times. I can't spell it right. Mm-hmm. It's like Nietzsche, right? Can't fucking spell it. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's because it's from a Native American word.
Oh, what does it mean?
It translates literally to, like, town of mosquitoes.
So, did a mosquito do it?
I have no idea. Maybe. I don't remember the tribe of it. Otherwise, I'd say the tribe name.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is.
You're probably Native American.
Yes.
That's really interesting. I always find it really interesting that you are. We've looked into it a lot. We went to a natural history museum, and there was a statue of one of his ancestors, like from the same tribe that his family is from. Mm-hmm. And he could have been the twin of this guy. It was crazy. Anyway, that's besides the point. They go to Punxsutawny, which in real world wasn't filmed in Punxsutawny. It was filmed in Illinois because, according to Harold Ramis, the town center of Punxsutawny didn't have a photogenic enough town square. Oh. So he didn't like it.
Yeah. They didn't go with actual Punxsutawny. Uh-huh. Where they actually pull out Punxsutawny Phil is like a more rural areas, like near the forest and everything like that. And so they chose Woodstock, Illinois, because like the town square and everything in the center of town, they went ahead and dressed it up for Gobbler's Knob, where they actually pull out.
Oh my God, it's called Gobbler's Knob?
Yes, it's called Gobbler's Knob.
It's called that's such a hilarious... Is that why they called it Bing? Do the people at Microsoft like play homage to this movie by calling it Bing, knowing that they were going to make the best porn search engine ever?
I don't think so.
I think that that's what happened, Lou. I do.
You just want everything to connect your way, don't you?
It's all connected, Liz. I can stop watching TV.
You can never stop watching TV.
No, I can never. That was a reference to PCU, which, if you haven't seen, sit down and watch. Phenomenal 90s movie. We're going to watch it one of these days, but you should sit down tonight and watch it because it's hilarious.
Yes. After this.
After you finish listening to this, obviously.
And so they do this whole grandstand show of, bringing out the Groundhog, Punxsutawny Phil, and Phil Connors is just like going through the motions of it. He's like, all right, here we are doing this shit, blah, 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 blah. And then he kind of they cut off the mic for a second. So he's like, all right, so this is what they're going to do. They're going to, crazy dude come out with this long stick. He's going to knock on the door. They're going to pull out the giant rat. They're going to speak to it. And then he's going to say whether it's winter or not. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, he's already just like, I don't fucking care anymore.
Yeah.
4 years, but whatever. Blah.
I can guarantee you that when he first got that assignment, he was like, this is the next step in my career.
I'm pretty sure.
And then the second time he was like, wait. The third time he's like, fuck you. Mm-hmm. And then this is the fourth time where he's like, you know what? Fuck everybody.
Yeah, fuck everybody. I'm too good for this.
It takes longer than 4 years to get to a national news network, I'm sure.
Yes, it does. I'm not even in the news, and I know this.
Yeah.
Just because, like, there's so much to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't know.
Dude, shout out to Anderson Cooper, though.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper.
For no reason. I mean, he's just cool.
He's a cool fucking news anchor.
Yeah.
That's why.
So, in the beginning of the movie, Phil is saying, well, Bill Paxton, no.
Wow.
Bill Murray is saying that there's a blizzard that they're going to miss. Like, it's going to go out to sea. He's not worried about it at all. Mm-hmm. But then when they get to Punxsutawny, it ends up hitting as they're trying to leave. So they're actually trapped in the town overnight, which they weren't supposed to be. Giant blizzard. Oh my God, Lewis.
What?
I know what happened.
What happened?
Blizzard happened.
Yeah, a blizzard happened.
No. World of Warcraft came down on them. Didn't you see it in the beginning? The blizzard's name was Leroy. Was it?
Did it just come down out of nowhere and just scream, Leroy Jenkins? And everyone's like, God damn it, Leroy.
That's what happened. This is where Leroy Jenkins came from. It's all connected.
Wait, I think what it was like that first cloud just came in, like Leroy Jenkins did, and all the rest of them were like, fuck, we gotta follow Leroy now. And then just came in, fucking turned to a huge blizzard.
That's why it didn't go according to plan. That's what it was. It was all Leroy's fault.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Fucking Warcraft
fucking
taking
Leroy.
over lives. Fucking Warcraft taking over everybody's life. I don't know what to do.
They knew better to have Leroy on their team when they were going up against that boss.
Everybody should know at this point. If your name is Leroy Jenkins, I'm sorry that we're making fun of your name. It's not you we're making fun of. If you are the Leroy Jenkins, I'm not sorry.
You knew what you did.
You were in Groundhog's Day. I don't know what you're complaining about. So now that we're done with that, now that we've solved that mystery, we can move on to the next mystery, which is the main mystery of the movie.
Yeah.
When he goes to bed that night and wakes up the next morning, it's the same day over again.
But it's supposed to be the next morning.
Well, I mean, that's how time works, right?
Yeah.
Except for no. He thinks at the beginning, oh, it's just they're playing the same tape over again, right? Which to me is enough for me to go about my morning without thinking anything was odd until, I don't know, the 5th or 6th recurring occurrence.
Yeah.
Because I've already solved the issue. So when he says it's just the tape from yesterday, and then before he even gets dressed, shortly after he washes his face, realizes that he's in the same day, to me, I'm like, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah.
Does the air taste the same? What the fuck is the same?
I have no idea.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
How do you spell Punxsutawny? I really need to know, Lewis.
You really want to know how to spell Punxsutawny right now?
I'm gonna have to like say it a million times before I can even remember how to pronounce it, much less spell it.
Punxsutawny.
I'll punks your tawny.
Yeah.
That sounds like an innuendo.
It does.
Sounds like gobbler's knob.
I think I prefer Gobbler's Knob to Punxsutawny right now. As far as innuendos go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean... But more jerkiness ensues, right?
Yes.
He actually becomes a little bit more cranky during the second run-through
Yeah.
than I think he does any other point. He's a cranky motherfucker. He's just not happy.
That's why he plays Scrooge in Scrooged.
Have I seen that?
I don't know.
I think I have. I'm pretty sure I have.
I hope you have.
Maybe it's just that I haven't seen any Bill Murray movies.
Except Ghostbusters.
Well, okay, so the jerkiness keeps going. And in the subsequent scenes, it just keeps happening over and over again. Everything keeps happening the same.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he goes a different route or changes something. And then he still wakes up the next day and it's exactly the same.
Yep.
So it's the ultimate Sisyphean effort. Like, there's literally nothing he can do.
Yeah.
We won't get into philosophy, though. I promise we won't get into philosophy. I might mention a thing or two. If you're confused about anything that I mention, tweet at me or message us on Facebook, and I'll gladly explain. I'm just going to try and stop talking about it, only because I know that it'll go this crazy route, and I don't want to go down that road.
You'll go further down the rabbit hole.
We go way further down the rabbit hole. Go way further. Go all the way to the Queen of Hearts, where we're painting the roses red. We're painting the roses red. I love that song. That's my favorite song from that whole movie. I'm really distractible right now.
Yeah?
Anyway. So, eventually, Phil starts becoming less and less of a jerk.
Yes.
Partially through his attraction to
Rita.
Who's played by Andie MacDowell, who's great.
Who is a very lovely lady.
She's a wonderful looking woman. And I'm sure a wonderful person. I don't know her personally. I just know what she looks like. So therefore,
and
that's
her
a link.
accent is awesome.
I don't really like it that much.
That's her natural voice, though. So
I know.
Well,
I just have a thing against the South Carolina accent specifically. It's South Carolina and Georgia. I don't like them.
Okay.
They're similar. They're not the same, but they're similar.
Okay. Either way, I like it.
I mean, you can like it all you want. I don't care. And then eventually he gets Andy to love him, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think that it was because Andy loved him.
Yeah, I think it was because Andie MacDowell loved him.
Nope. I think it's because he bought insurance. He says, okay, we skipped over my favorite character in this movie, who is Ned. He's not my favorite character. Actually, I quite hate him. Okay, anybody who has anxiety is afraid that this person actually exists. I can guarantee it. They're way too touchy. He's all up in his personal space. He's insisting that he remembers him from something else that Phil is unable to remember. That's all of my anxieties in one person. I hate him. With the fury of 1,000 suns, Lewis, I hate this man.
But he is the main point of your thesis here.
But I have to talk about it. All right? It's like talking about spiders. I have to, in order for you to understand why I think the way that I do. Right? All right. Beginning of the movie. First time around. He runs into Bill Murray. And he's insisting that he knows Bill Murray from high school. And now he sells insurance. Bing. Right?
So wait, who's Ned again?
Ned Ryerson. Bing! How do you not remember him? He says his line like 20 times in 20 different ways, I swear to God. He was in the talent show. Bing! He dated Phil's sister for like a couple dates, and then Phil was like, I don't like you dating my sister. And he was like, okay. That's the thing that happens.
I guess so.
But point is, now he sells insurance.
Mm-hmm.
First thing he wants to know is, hey, bro, you buy some insurance or what? Phil says, nope. Turns around. What happens? Falls into that knee-deep puddle that doesn't make any fucking sense. How the hell did that pothole get that big? Think about it. Think about it. In that well-kept of a town, not negligence. No, sir. That was a magical spell put on it by none other than Ned Ryerson himself. Okay? To punish him for his first karmic offense. Right there.
Well, he made a fucking zinger off of that. Tell him to watch out for that first step. It's a doozy.
Oh my God, I hate him so much. So he doesn't buy insurance, right? No. We see Ned several times throughout the movie. He keeps running into him, and then he starts avoiding him, right? Where else do we see him, Lewis?
Near the end of his time loops and such, he gives him a big hug. He's like, oh, Ned. Oh, I don't know where you're going, but can you call in sick? And then he gets all creeped out. I was like, I gotta go. And he runs off real quick.
That's true. That's probably one of my favorite parts of this movie.
Now that part was completely ad-libbed.
It was hilarious. I loved it. And that little run that he does afterwards was super creepy. Like, oh man, I love it. So we see him at the very end of the movie too. Yeah. When Andy is deciding that she's going to go outside and kiss him after she bought Phil.
Yeah.
With $380 or whatever it was.
$338.93.
Sure. I don't know what the number was. I don't have a memory for numbers like you do.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he say? What does Ned say?
Where are we going? And then she goes, Don't
skip over it. That's
exactly what it says.
He says a little bit
more. You said
than
at
that.
the end when they were getting ready to leave, he says, where are we going? And then she goes, oh, let's not spoil it. And he goes,
okay.
Oh. And then they leave.
What does he say right before that? What is he so happy with Phil about? You know what he says?
What does he say?
Since you're being difficult. He says, this guy just bought all the types of insurance that he sells, right?
What insurances are they?
I don't remember off the top of my head. That's what I was depending on you to list off. See? See how this works? You're not feeding into my fantasies. You're just helping me remember stuff. What kind of insurance does he get, Lewis?
Health, life, with accidental death and dismemberment clause, fire, water, flood, everything pretty much kind of insurance that he could think of.
Maybe including karmic insurance?
That's not a thing.
I think it is.
I don't think it is.
I think it is. Mm-hmm.
I don't believe you.
Okay, fine. But it's life though, right?
Yeah.
So when he goes outside and he kisses Andy and then the snow starts falling?
To signify it's a wonderful life?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? What about it?
What if he had a mini heart attack and almost died?
And
the insurance kicked in. And the insurance kicked in because it was midnight. Did you think of that?
No, because it didn't
I know
work
it didn't say it was
midnight.
midnight.
It didn't work till 6 anyway.
How do you know? How do you know that things didn't start changing before 6? Because it started snowing. So it actually did start before 6. You're welcome. You're welcome. It was Ned. Hashtag it was Ned. Guys, tweet at Lewis with the hashtag it was Ned about 20,000 times. And then maybe he might listen to me. We don't have 20,000 listeners. I don't care. Do it. There's 20 of you out there. Tweeted him 1,000 times.
You can hashtag it was Ned at me all you want. Just let me know it's true.
Well, okay, but why are you so against it?
I'm not against it. I'm just saying that that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a complete mystery because we don't know why the hell the universe is going to gave Phil Connors a cosmic bitch slap.
And that's really what it is. It's a karmic bitch slap.
Yeah, that's
which is why I said it's karma insurance. That's just a joke. That's just a joke.
That's all it was. Just like, look, you're too much of an asshole for one man. We need to go ahead and knock some shit out you real quick.
Yeah.
And so keep him stuck in Punxsutawny, Pennsylvania for whatever amount of years they kept him there.
Yeah.
So he can go ahead and learn to not be an asshole and be a good person. And then he found love.
Look, I know you're trying to say that it was the faceless universe trying to teach him a lesson.
Yes.
I'm not happy with that.
Why not?
people still talk about this movie is because nobody's satisfied with that the universe just decided that he was going to do something like this. Because then that has these religious overtones that this movie was very carefully avoiding. Mm-hmm. The only religious overtone that Harold Ramis or whoever the guy was that wrote the movie,
Danny Rubin,
have ever actually said is that originally it was supposed to be 10,000 years. Mm-hmm. Because in the Buddhist tradition, it takes 10,000 years for a soul to evolve to the next level of understanding. Mm-hmm. And he needed to evolve to the next level, so it would have taken 10,000 years for that to happen.
But then Harold Ramis said, no, it's probably just around 10 years. And kind of left it at that. But then you had a couple other sites to go ahead and saying differently. There was this one that I saw called Wolfnards that said that he was stuck there for 8 years, 8 months, and 16 days.
Yeah, that person's just obsessed with the number 8.
I feel that way too. But then there was another one called Obsessed with Film that said he was there for 12,403 days, a little less than 34 years. Just to go account for being able to play the piano and do all the eye sculpting and everything.
Yeah, but Harold Ramis has said that 10 years definitely was too short. Mm-hmm. Because it takes at least 10 years to master something. Mm-hmm. So 34 years for him to master 3 things for sure. The piano, the ice sculpting, and...
French.
The French. Would have... I mean, that only leaves 4 years of him being crazy. And with him... being such a Jerky McJerk face, yeah. It would have taken a lot longer than 4 years for him to get tired of jerking people around.
Yep.
Just saying. Did he sleep with that girl that was having second thoughts?
I don't think so.
I bet he did. I bet he slept with every girl in that town. I bet he did. Even that old lady that was giving him the coffee. Who didn't know what espresso was. I tried to keep a straight face for so long.
That's just weird.
Why is that weird?
I don't know, but it just sounds weird.
I bet that he did. I can guarantee that he did.
With most of the younger ones, I could see. But with some of the older ladies, I don't think so. Because some of them were in their 80s and such. I don't think he would have done it. Since he's so fucking full of himself, I think he'd feel like he's not worth that.
I bet he would think, well, now I need a challenge. And Granny over there needs a little bit of fill. You know what I mean? It would be like the ultimate persuasion. Anyway, I don't know. This is just what I think about.
And that's part of the dark stuff they try to avoid.
That's true. Maybe that says something about me, that's where I go. No, I've actually given this a fair amount of thought of the amount of things that he could have done in his time. My mind went to some dark places.
And so did Harold Ramis and Danny Rubin, and that's why I made sure to completely avoid that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so okay, Johnny wanted us to talk about that specifically. How long was he in there? How long do you think he was in there?
How long do I think he was there?
You personally, yeah.
Personally, I'd say probably 50 years.
You think 50?
I think around 50 years. Half a century. I feel like that's a good amount of time for him to go ahead and realize that, yeah, being an asshole was okay, but now it's just tiresome and, fucking should probably go ahead and change shit. And so to be able to learn the things that he's learned, another language, how to go ahead and play an instrument, how to go ahead and do the ice sculpting with a chainsaw and everything like that, all that shit's difficult. To go ahead and be able to do that and do it well where it's almost like he's mastered them, because no one can really master anything. That's just my personal opinion, though. But to have that amount of time so you can be great at all those things.
Well, I'm actually going to have to go with the Buddhist version of it, the 10,000 years. I think it's actually a minimum of 1,000 years. And it's mostly based on you, if you can believe it. I've known you for 17 years 18 years, something like that. We've been together for 8 years. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've only scratched the surface of you as a person, right? I don't think that I could be these are all of his dreams and aspirations off the top of my head. I don't think I could be in 7th grade, he did this. Even after knowing you as long as I have known you. Mm-hmm. And with the intention of getting to know you as much as I possibly could, right? Because that's what you do in a marriage. Yeah. I don't think that it would have taken 8 years, just throw a number out there because that's how long we've been together, to get to know one person, much less an entire town of people, to the extent to which he does.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to multiply that out. One person, let's say 10 years per person.
Okay.
This is a population of, 250? No, it's a little bit more than that. Probably 500 people. They're just throwing a random number out. This is a small town, so I'm just assuming maybe 500 people. Mm-hmm. That's probably too high of an estimate, but whatever.
I don't know.
10 years, that's 5,000 years, right? For just knowing the people to the extent that he knows them. Plus, there's Andy, who he knows to an extent that nobody would ever be able to replicate. Like, he couldn't do that with anybody else.
Yeah.
Because he's romantically interested in her. So he's got a way more vested interest in knowing all of her. And then, so that's 5,000 years for just the townsfolk. Let's add 20 years for Andy, because twice as long. 520 years. Just to know the people. That's not to mention all of their habits, all the things that they're doing every single day to be able to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here's the car, which he does before he starts learning the people. So really, I don't think that it would take that short of an amount of time. I really don't.
Okay.
So I'm like, I honestly think that he's been there for at least, bare minimum, 1,000 years.
Okay.
It's insanity. Insanity.
Yes, it is.
But then here comes the next part of my question, right? We'll leave apart my joking theory of who put him in there and ask you, because, I mean, this is just a joking theory for me. It's not my real actual theory. Who do you actually think?
You're so adamant about it. I'm pretty sure it's your real theory.
No. Who do you actually think put him in the loop?
Who do I think put him in the loop? I have no idea. I really don't. Like, I can't point to a single person about it. I just think it's just karma. Just something to just go ahead and just knock him down and be like, look, you are too freaking... You have yourself on too much of a pedestal up here for your station in life. You need to fucking bring that shit down.
So you're going with the Buddhist version of it?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, I just think that the universe just gave freaking... was like, look, you need to fucking knock your shit off. Give him a nice little bitch slap and just had him pretty much start over.
Yeah. Because he was just messing everything up. He was just such a horrible person. I actually do agree that it would be like a karmic balance thing. Like, it makes the most amount of sense. With, like, knowing what I know about Harold Ramis and his wife, who are both supposedly Buddhist. I know his wife is, but I'm not sure about him. It makes sense for that to be the main antagonist of the movie, I guess. Although the main antagonist of the movie is actually Phil himself. Yeah. Which is really weird. And very rarely seen without being hokey. This movie didn't come off as hokey. No. Like, you genuinely felt about this guy. Yeah. Whether it was positive or negative.
That's up to you. But like I said, this is one of the few films that actually will stand the test of time.
I really think so, yeah. It doesn't feel dated at all.
Yeah.
Except for maybe, like, the clothing choices. But, of course, that would happen. Yeah. Okay, so what did you actually think of the movie, aside from it standing the test of time?
I liked it. I really did. I really enjoy it. It's a great movie. I would put it in my top 10.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. One of these days we'll talk about our lists. Yeah. What was your favorite line?
My favorite line was where he's talking to Rita in the diner. If you notice in the diner, too, all the clocks have stopped to go ahead and mirror his predicament.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, he was freaking talking to her about all the God shit, and he's like, no, I'm a God. And she's like, no, you can't be. And he was like, well, maybe the real God uses tricks, you know? Maybe he's not omnipotent. He's just been around so long, he knows everything.
Yeah. That's actually a really strange line. And I don't know how to feel about it, because Andy is supposed to be, Rita is supposed to be a Catholic. Mm-hmm. She talks about Catholic school at some point during the movie.
Yeah. It was during that same scene. She was like, well, 12 years of Catholic school will go ahead and prove you wrong. Yeah. I don't know how to feel about that one. It's a possibility. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely a possibility. I think that's why I like it so much, because like it can be a possibility. Yeah. What about you? What's your favorite line? It's when Bill Murray is talking to Annie McDowell in the beginning of the movie. He's like crossing a line, and she laughs it off like it's no big deal, and she says, "You're incredible," and he just goes, "Who told you?" And he does it in such a straight, like super straight man kind of delivery. It's so hilarious to me. When I saw it, I laughed so hard about that, because it was really well portrayed on the screen. It was great. You're incredible. Who told you? It was great. # best, guys.
So I guess that wraps it up. This is a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, please do. Please take the time to go and watch it.
Sit down and watch it. If you haven't watched it recently, fuck it, watch it again. Mm-hmm. Take some time, have some sweet vermouth and maybe some scotch and water.
Yeah.
Nice. I totally did the gestures. Just it's not funny when you don't see it. I'm sorry.
Speaking of the sweet vermouth thing, though.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
It was described as Rita's favorite drink because it was director Harold Ramis's wife's favorite drink.
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. You had something else to say about another wife in this movie.
Yeah, when Bill Murray is trying to woo Rita, Annie McDowell, and he's reading to her some French poetry to her in bed, he's reading aloud. That's something that he did to his wife on their wedding night because she got too drunk off champagne.
Yeah.
And fell asleep.
It's easy to do.
Yeah, and so he was reading to her aloud until he also fell asleep.
Yeah, that's sweet. Kind of reminds me of our wedding night.
Yeah.
We did our wedding, and then because it was such a rockin' party, we went and had an after party.
Because that's what you do.
That's what you do. So we went home, we changed really fast, and we went over to a friend's house and did the after party. We got a little drunk and then came home. We both fell asleep.
Yep.
That's not what you're supposed to do on your wedding night, guys.
Speaking of weddings, that final scene where they're all having like the giant party and such.
Yeah.
It was actually supposed to be at the wedding of two of the characters there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Fred and Debbie. And Fred was played by Michael Shannon, and this is his movie debut right here.
Who's Michael Shannon?
Michael Shannon was the guy that played General Zod in Man of Steel.
What?
The girl that played his wife, Debbie, is
Super short, cute girl.
Yeah, actress Hynden Walsh, and she's known as a voice actress, for playing Starfire on Teen Titans.
What?
Yeah. So this is the Tamaran Krypton wedding that never happened here.
Guys,
with
ship
Starfire and freaking Zod.
Ship it. Ship the hell out of it. That's cute.
But they felt like that'd take too long to go ahead and do that as like the wedding reception thing where everybody's there, like the whole town's there and such. So they're like, oh, we'll just do this freaking party for Groundhog Day at the end.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how many. I keep thinking about how many people actually live in Punxsutawny. Trying to figure out my math. I should have done it before. Anyway, okay, so we have some announcements before we wrap up officially. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have our hosting site is on SoundCloud. We're going to change hosting sites. If you don't listen on SoundCloud, if you listen on like iTunes or Podcast Addict, which is our preferred podcasting site, not a sponsor, we just like them.
Yeah.
Whatever, app you use to listen to the podcast, you're not going to be changing at all. We're just going to change the RSS feed. It's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. If you are listening on SoundCloud, we're still going to be putting new episodes up on SoundCloud, but we're going to be keeping our archive on a different one, which we'll have a link in the description. So if you're a SoundCloud person, the only people that are going to be affected are SoundCloud people, and that's only because you're not going to be able to access the archives. If you are on SoundCloud and you're interested in more podcasts, you should probably look into a different app because it's just easier to use mostly. Mm-hmm. That's really all it is. I don't have anything against SoundCloud. SoundCloud's great. Just an idea.
Yep.
No big deal. So we're also going to be changing the format just ever so slightly. Before, we were going to be doing just whatever movie caught our eye. And we've changed it to all of the movies which have influenced us. So we're going to be sticking before 2005 because some of the Marvel movies and stuff came out around that time because they were really influential to us because we were in high school during the time period.
Mm-hmm. We have been kind of just like trying to focus on genres of movies, but we decided that that's going to be too limiting. So we were just like, you know what, let's go ahead and just go with ones that really help mold us into the kind of nerds that we are.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're going to just change it up. But of course, we're still going to have questions.
Yeah.
And please, if you have questions about anything, go ahead and let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Go ahead and hit us up.
We've got all of our socials in the description of this particular episode. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google+.
Facebook.
I said Facebook.
Okay, then.
All of those are questions we have, BT Dubs. If you're looking for us, it's questions we have, because whatever.
Yep.
And then, final announcement, which is the one you're all waiting for. I am absolutely certain. What are we watching next week? Take those nails out of your mouth, because I can tell you right now. Street Fighter!
Yes, we are doing the Street Fighter movie.
The god-awful with Jean-Claude Van Damme, but
so bad it's good.
so bad it's good. Oh my god, it's the best. Jean-Claude Van Damme is great in this movie. Can I just point out, before we even watch that movie, Guile is supposed to be an American.
Yes.
100% American.
Yes.
He should be throwing up freedom fries because he is so American.
Yeah.
Before that even happened. That's how American he is. Played by a Belgian guy.
Yep.
With a very thick accent.
Yep.
Good casting choice.
Oh, yeah. There you go. But on another note for that, this is Raul Julia's last film.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
He was great in this movie.
He was excellent in this movie.
He played Bison, in case you guys don't know who he is.
And also, he was in his final stages of fighting, it was like a stomach cancer, pretty much. Like, he was filming and fighting fucking disease.
Yeah.
Because he's that much of a badass.
Yeah. And he was great in this
Suck
movie.
it.
How do we want to wrap this up?
Perfect.
No. That'll be for the Street Fighter episode.
Oh.
What are we going to say?
Oh. I have no idea how to wrap this up.
We always have this problem.
Can you just ask me that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is deja vu.
Hige, have we done this before? This whole podcast, I've been thinking we've done this before.
I don't know.
Huh. Well, I guess it's time to go to bed. Man, I've got that Sonny and Cher song stuck in my head.
That's weird.